but that's the stuff that comes out of the ground when you're clearing. And this little shelf here, if you can see it, main wall, small wall, you know, that's done with intent. Whether it was just a place to pull a cart up, who knows, but somebody did that for a reason way back when. Wow, that took a lot longer to get from there to here. Nothing like pulling the whole tree down on your head. Well, hey everybody, welcome to another Not Thursday in beautiful New Hampshire. We are out at a colonial home site, been deserted for probably close to 200 years, and this place fascinates me. That's why I have hiked all the way back out here. If you didn't catch my last digging video of last year, yeah, there's an established home site out here in Cellar Hole, but I had found a footprint where there may have been, you know, an early settler site or just a smaller adjacent home. That is intriguing enough, but what really fascinates me about this spot is how remote it is. I just came through all that, over a mile. It's further in every direction. You can't even get in from the south to get here. But when you get up in here, it is extremely elaborate. Lots and lots of stone walls and pens. So backing up what I said yesterday about when you have access to a place to hike it, you know, explore it as much as you can. One, you may find things you didn't find before, but two, you collect data. You know, the more experience you have in exploring these old home sites, the more it helps you in the future. So that's what we are out here to do. I just want to spread out further from where I have been. And we're going to start out by going down over there. Well, I'm really glad there isn't much snow out here. That hike was something else. So here's a prime example of something. Directly across from where the proper house sat, this was some type of outbuilding. I don't necessarily think it was the main barn, but you can see stones where beams would sit. There's an ox shoe. I can tell you that a lot of them came out of the ground here, and tools and such. And then you have all kinds of small pens around it where the livestock would be. Walking around this place several times before, it didn't appear as though these people were farming. No real smooth land, but you know, there could be small side fields out there, who knows. I don't know, either way, I'm intrigued. And the other reason why I've started out on the I guess this would be southwesterly leaning side, is there is a cart path that comes down in here I've never followed, and fieldstones. And keep in mind, I've already walked in from where I started at the cellar hole quite a few hundred feet. So I am, you know, out beyond the living space. Yeah, that's a hefty pile of rocks. So whether they were attempting to clear down here, or they dragged them down with a sled, you know, a stone sled from up there, I don't know, but let's see where this cart path goes. It can't go far, as in outside of the farm. because as you can see out there, there's wetlands, and it's pretty big. So that we know. Huh. It's kind of interesting and intentional looking. Wow. Rugged. So as I walk this rather large wall, I'm coming down in, and it banks off, changes over from big rocks to very small rocks. There is a difference. That's more like, you know, ground clearing. And this gap in between here, there's a shouldered wall here. I don't know, probably about 30 feet. So there's a space in between here. For whatever reason, they built this up, and the wall build changes down there. And I'd say I'm 2/10 of a mile. I'm not a quarter of a mile out yet from the proper home site, but it's far enough out that somebody else could have been over here. Well, let's go check that out. Oh yeah. Well, maybe they were growing back here. And you know why it's interesting when you see something like this? That wall goes on as far as we can see with massive rocks. That is the quickest way to gain some height in your wall and build it, as opposed to field stones, the time it would take. But that's the stuff that comes out of the ground when you're clearing. And this little shelf here, if you can see it, main wall, small wall, you know, that's done with intent. Whether it was just a place to pull a cart up, who knows, but somebody did that for a reason way back when. So as you can see, I'm back in the thick of the terrain. That cart path pretty much ended at that interesting spot. And I just hooked north because I could see another wall off in the distance. Yeah, you can see the disconnect between sections because it's just bad. Definitely a livestock pasture. Well, I've dumped back out onto the old proper road going to the home site. That livestock pasture is disconnected, so must belong to the other home site that we're aware of. So essentially I just completely looped the southern end of the old farm. Never had been down there. Definitely going to go back to that interesting spot in the future. I don't know, I've been out here for quite a while, so I'm not sure what's next, but it's definitely heading back that way. So I'm essentially at this point up behind where the house was. I don't know if you can see way down there. Big cellar hole, chimney stack, small squares coming up this way, and then just bigger squares out that way, which I've never been out there, but it's rough looking land. I've been coming out here for 10 years. You know, obviously I jump around from spot to spot, but I still have yet to cover all the walls and ground up here. Big, real big. So I'm gonna take my time going back, probably head out a different way, same direction, just over and out. I don't know. That was quite the hike. But that's what you gotta do. If any of you live in areas that are old and deserted like this, get out and explore them. There's nothing more interesting or satisfying to step back onto somebody's property and just look at the way they did things a couple hundred years ago. I mean, out here in New Hampshire, you know, New England, parts of the Northeast, I should say, they really had to forge something out of this. Wouldn't you just love to be able to go back in time and take a quick look around? I sure would. Alright everybody, get out and explore your world. I'll see you very soon. Until next time, you know it. Enjoy your Not Thursday.